Have you ever found a rock or a mineral and you wondered what it was? Have you ever found anything that you thought, I don't know what this is, but it looks like it might be valuable? I mean, maybe you found something that you thought was gold or platinum or diamonds or some other thing that you thought would be valuable, rubies or emeralds. There's a lot of possibilities. There's a lot of different kinds of mineral specimens that are very valuable, and actually even really well-developed, well-formed crystals of pretty common minerals like quartz or calcite or some other things can be really valuable. And so, knowing how to identify minerals, that's important. It's worthwhile. It's an important and worthwhile skill to know. Years ago when I was young and just getting started in college, before I'd learned a lot, I thought I found a vein that had some platinum in it. I had it assayed and tested. There wasn't any platinum in it. But, I get people all the time contacting me and saying, "Hey, Chris, can I send you some photos?" Or sometimes people, they don't even ask if they can send me photos. They just start sending me photos. And it's like, I don't offer a photo ID service. If I did, I'd have people sending me hundreds of photos every day. Because I got, between Facebook and YouTube, I got like 250,000 people that follow me or subscribe to me. So, hey, I don't do photo ID service. But part of the reason is not because, I'm lazy and I don't want to do it. It's because it's a lot harder than you think. Most people think, I'll just send you a photo. You tell me exactly what it is. And that's not really true. I've told in other videos an example that a guy sent me some photos and I did actually look at them. And I think he sent me 5 or 6 photos of the same rock, right? And he thought that he had found gold. And I looked at the rock and it's like, well, 3 of the photos, I think it was 5 photos, 3 of the photos, nah, there's no way, that's not gold, no chance. 2 of the photos I looked at and thought, maybe that could be gold. Hard to tell, but, I can't say that it isn't. And it was all of the same rock. And that's the problem, is there's all these different characteristics that help identify a rock or a mineral. And, most of them you can't see. People send me pictures, and it's usually stuff they've taken with their cell phone. And, all you can see is color, all right? And there's all these different characteristics. Well, let me tell you, there are over 6,000 identified different minerals. That's a lot, over 6,000. And so, how many minerals are white or clear? Probably 500 or 800 could come in white or clear. And many minerals, what I got to tell you is many minerals come in different colors. There's some minerals that come in all colors of the rainbow. Whatever it looks like, it could be blue, pink, green, orange, red, yellow, green, whatever. And so when you say, I've got a red mineral here, Chris, what is it? Is it valuable? Oh, I know. It's one of, 600 or 800 minerals that could be found in some shade of red. So, that's why I tell people, don't send me pictures, because, I'm just going to tell you that I don't offer a photo ID service. And the reason is because I can't identify stuff from just a picture. To identify a rock or a mineral, you need to learn other things like the luster, the cleavage, the hardness, the crystal form, fluorescence, optical properties, and things like that. And you can't see any of those from a picture. And all you can see is the color. And to tell you the truth, you can, depending on your cell phone or the lighting and other stuff, the color can be a little different from what you would see if you were looking at it with your eye and your hand. So even the color is not 100% reliable. So let's take a look. Let's dive in and talk about this isn't going to be a super detailed video, but I'm going to dive in and talk about the characteristics of identifying minerals. And we're going to look at some different things and take a look at it. And, if you're interested in, actually doing mineral ID, there's books on it. I've done some longer videos that really would dive in. But this is a kind of an overview to talk about mineral identification and different kinds of minerals that are out there to understand it and, increase your skill at being able to identify minerals. So let me show you some pictures and we'll talk about what it takes to identify a mineral. So the first thing that I absolutely cannot see in a photograph is how hard the mineral is. And this is a scale of hardness, Mohs scale of hardness, from talc, which is a 1, all the way down through diamond, which is a 10. And you'll notice they have no example of diamond. All the rest of them have an example, quartz, topaz, etc. There's examples of them, but for the diamond, no. But the point is, for really soft stuff like 2, your fingernail is hard enough. 3, calcite, a copper penny is hard enough. In the 5 to 6 range, knife, glass, steel, like a steel nail, those are hard enough to scratch those. I get a lot of people who tell me, hey, I think I might have found a diamond. It scratches glass. Well, feldspar scratches glass, and feldspar is one of the most common minerals out there. Quartz scratches glass, and it's the most common mineral, I think, on the surface of the earth. So, just because it scratches glass doesn't mean it's a diamond. It has to be something that easily scratches corundum, which is sapphire and ruby is the mineral of corundum. Here's an actual diamond, and you can see that it has the classic diamond shape. Not all of them do, but usually most of them to one degree or another. I've done whole videos on how to identify diamonds, so if you're interested in that, check through with the search tool on Google to find some of that stuff in my catalog of past videos. As far as doing hardness testing, doing the scratch test to see if it'll scratch the minerals, you can buy kits like this. This is my personal kit. I bought this way back when I was in college. And, they last forever and you can use them to test different things. And so, I've got, you can get these on Amazon and they're pretty cheap. You'll note there's a loop also here, some magnets, and then some white ceramic material, which we'll get to when we start talking about color. But if you want to identify minerals, this is a good tool for actually doing it. Your real diamond will easily scratch number 9 corundum. I went to the museum with my granddaughter the other day, and they had a whole display on identifying minerals, so I thought I'd take some pictures, and this is another one of them. Cleavage and fracture. This is another way of identifying a mineral. Certain minerals break along flat planes called cleavage, and whereas if it doesn't break along any particular plane, but it just shatters or breaks or that's a fracture. And there's different ways of identifying minerals. One of the minerals that people commonly mistake for gold is mica. And mica just breaks really easily along one cleavage. It basically is like a book. It can break it into thin sheets, and that's a characteristic thing of mica. Diamonds also have a cleavage that they break on, although it's not so easily developed as with mica. Mica, it's real easy to break it into little flat sheets. The next characteristic I want to talk about is luster. It's how a mineral shines when it's in the light. And, there's different kinds of lusters. There's a glassy kind of luster like glass. There's metallic luster. There's a earthy luster. There's different kinds of, ways that things appear. It's more than just the color. And of course, gold has a metallic kind of luster, but then so do a lot of sulfides. And that's why pyrite and gold kind of get confused, because both have a kind of the same yellow metallic color, but also the same kind of metallic luster. Gold just has this metallic luster. It looks like a metal. It's yellow in color, but it looks metallic because gold is a metal. I just had a guy the other day ask me about a yellow mineral he found that it wasn't shiny. He said it looked powdery. It had the shiny, it has the shiny surface that you see in dirt. And this is the mineral. It's limonite. It's very common. It's an iron oxide. It's basically rust. Okay, it's iron oxides just like rust is. but it's a mineral. And it's very common, and people find it and they wish that they might have found gold, but it doesn't look like a metal at all. Of course, there are minerals that have a metallic luster and have the same approximate color of gold. This is pyrite. But I don't get as many people asking, well, they found pyrite, but they think it might be gold. That happens once in a while because what happens with pyrite is if it's exposed on the surface for any long length of time, it rusts and then it no longer looks like a piece of gold because the pyrite has rusted. There are a whole lot of other properties that can be used to identify minerals, like crystal shape. If you've got crystals, you can identify a mineral by a crystal shape. Actually, the angles of the faces on these minerals tell you what kind of crystal it is, the angle from one surface to another. And you can actually measure it, and that helps identify the mineral. This is rhodochrosite, a really beautiful red-pink mineral, and this example is from Colorado. Quartz crystals have a very characteristic shape, and if you've seen enough quartz crystals, it can become really easy to identify them just by their crystal shape. Another important tool in identifying minerals is optical properties. Now, this is obviously a faceted cut gemstone, but stones that have or minerals that have good optical properties have potential to be gemstones, especially if they're hard enough. And so, the optical properties can be measured with devices and used to identify minerals. And finally, we get to color, the one thing that it's pretty possible to see in a photograph. But, like it says in the caption on this picture, color can be helpful in identifying it, but minerals colors do vary. And, you can't just have one color in mind because you have to use other tests along with color to help identify a mineral. And some minerals, like I say, they come in a lot of different colors. Some minerals are so dark that you have to scratch them in order to see what the color is. In other words, you may look at it in your hand and it looks virtually black, but if you were to look at a powder of that mineral, then you might see that it was dark red or dark green or dark brown or some other color. And so, the basically the powderized mineral, the pulverized powder mineral, looking at that for color is what's called a streak. And so geologists will use a little ceramic or porcelain kind of plate, unglazed, that you can scrape the mineral across and maybe generate a little powder. And of course, because the ceramic is white, you get a good view of what the color of that powder is. The streak is mostly used to identify really dark minerals. Like you can see in this picture, the mineral is essentially black. But when you rub it on the plate and you get a powder of it, you can see that it's definitely brown. So that is a color that can be used in identification. It's important to remember that many minerals come in a variety of colors. All these minerals, all these little pebbles, are all one mineral. It's all corundum, or basically these are sapphires. And you can see there's just a rainbow of different colors. Sapphire comes in every color of the rainbow, but if it's red, then we call it a ruby. But it's the same mineral as sapphire. It's just colored red, it's a ruby. Any other color, it's a sapphire. But it's still the mineral corundum. And so, lots of minerals come in a variety of colors. It's not just sapphires. Even gold can come in different shades. Now, this is your classic yellow gold shape in a big nugget, and this is what you would expect. But this stuff is also gold. It's not nearly as yellow. It's much paler. You may even see a slight tinge of green in this color. It's really more like you'd see in pyrite sometimes, but this is gold. And it's just high silver gold. It's from a mine in Nevada that produced some real high grade gold, but the gold that it produced was rich in silver, and so it wasn't as deeply yellow as what you might expect. And you don't want to toss out stuff that's real gold just because it has a little bit of more silver in it than normal. All gold, all natural gold has some silver in it.
but some has more than others. And this is one of the more than others examples. It's sometimes called electrum. This is tourmaline, another one of those minerals that comes in every color of the rainbow, but sometimes tourmaline comes in multiple colors, even in one crystal. So if you really want to learn the skill of identifying minerals, I'd suggest you get one of these little hardness test kits. You can find them on Amazon. And then, get a book. There's a number of mineral identification books on Amazon as well. And it's pretty inexpensive to get the two of them. And, having a test kit like this and a book that does mineral identification will get you a long way in being able to identify minerals out in the field. And it's fun and I enjoy it, and it's a great skill to have.
Now, whatever kind of prospecting you're doing, whether it's for gems or gold or platinum, silver, whatever it is, or valuable crystal specimens of, other types of minerals, knowing what you have makes all the difference. It's a skill. Prospecting is a skill. And in order to increase your skill at prospecting and going out in the woods or the deserts or wherever and finding some cool and valuable specimens for yourself, I wrote a book. It's called Fistful of Gold, and because that's what I want you to go out and find is Fistful of Gold. And I've also partnered with an outfit called High Plains Prospectors, and they're a full line equipment dealer, and they sell everything, of course, including my book, that you might want in the world of prospecting. And so I'm going to tell you a little bit more about my book and about High Plains right now. This is my book, Fistful of Gold. It's basically what you need to know to go out and find your own gold. Now, finding gold, because gold is rare, it's not easy to find. And finding gold is a skill. It's what you know that makes all the difference. If you think you can just walk out to an old mining area and just, oh yeah, there's a big nugget, oh, there's another one over there. And it doesn't work like that. It's hard to find. It's so expensive for good reason, because it's so rare and it's hard to find. And so what you know makes all the difference in the world, because whatever kind of equipment you have, whether it's a metal detector, a sluice box, dry washer, gold pan, whatever it is, you, the prospector, find the gold. Your gold pan isn't going to find gold in gravel that doesn't have any gold in it. Your metal detector won't beep on any gold on the ground if there's no gold in the ground. What you know as a prospector is what makes all the difference. And I've sold more than 20,000 copies of this book, and it has super high ratings on Amazon and elsewhere. And so I want to recommend it to you. If you really want to get into gold, this is the book you want to have. This is the book you want to own and read. Now, the best place to get my book is from High Plains Prospectors. Yeah, it's available at Amazon and some other places, but High Plains is who I recommend. And if you want to support the channel, I have a link in the description down below that you can click on, and it will take you to the book sales in High Plains. High Plains is a full line equipment dealer, and they sell everything. And if you're interested in picking up some prospecting equipment for yourself, whether it's a sluice box or gold pan, a metal detector, they have it all, okay? And just click on the link. If you go to their website, click on the link and go to the website, and the discount code you can put in is High Plains. It depends on various things, whether or not you'll get a discount. They're having issues with that. But there's a good opportunity, and you can support the channel by doing that. And like I say, you can get the book, whatever you need, other equipment-wise too, and you'll be able to go out and find your own gold for yourself. You'll have that skill, and it's a skill worth having. So thanks a lot for listening, and I will see you in the next video.